Hello, my name is Wes Dawson, and welcome back to Gabagool and 8, and what a week, as this is, whoa, the 69 episode! Now, if you think that sounds juvenile and stupid, well, it is. Basically, the whole premise for this week's episode is why, at least myself and my friend group as a child, found the 69 position so amusing and just so awe-inspiring, yet we barely even understood what it was. Now, jumping ahead a little bit, I remember, I think it was early high school, had to be Sec 1, Sec 2, which is, I guess, grade 7 or grade 8. We had a girl join our school who had a tattoo. This tattoo was comprised of two dolphins forming a heart or something, or like a yin-yang symbol, but basically they were 69ing one another. This was the most groundbreaking thing we had ever discovered, and my God, that amused us throughout the entire school year. And just reminiscing as an adult, I wonder now, why did we find this position so amusing when we barely even understood what sex was at the time? At least myself, anyway. You know, I spent many of my teen years misutilizing my, how would you say, you know, for lack of a better word, the slightly bigger belly button that young men are endowed with, before I really got a hand of what it was and what to do with it. You know, for the most part, my friends and I believed 69ing to be just upside down sex, whatever in the fuck that's supposed to be. And that brings me to my next point, that kids are just really dumb. It's absolutely ridiculous thinking of things that I thought I could get away with as a child. You know, at the age of 9, kids thinking that they possess some uncanny ability to like verbally manipulate their parents is like only in your little fantasy world. That's typically why when people recount to me tales from their childhood, I always take it with a grain of salt and a giant boulder of, yes, likely bullshit. And that's not to say that we don't get smarter. We absolutely do. I can attest, I was an absolute moron as a child. Of course we get smarter, don't worry. You know, today as an adult, I'd consider myself a reasonably intelligent person. Maybe not quite genius level, but damn near close. It's only my employer who seems to think I'm incompetent. Which reminds me about next week's topic, workplace motivation, and how treating skilled, hard workers like idiots not worthy of your time will foster a happy and healthy work environment. Alright, we're talking about the old nasty 69. Let's move on to some hard facts. So first off, if you're the guy, you want to be on the bottom of the 69 pile, okay? If you want to be a gentleman, otherwise, you nasty. Second is the fact that it's not really that great of a position to begin with. Third, and probably my favorite, how the no-handed conga line certainly trumps the human centipede of 69ing. And of course, my last hard fact, I had this useless poster as a teenager of the periodic table of sex. And of course, 95% of these positions are not worth the effort, not to mention the high risk of the pleasure to broken penis ratio that's definitely not in your favor in these more acrobatic positions. Now on to shoot or pistol whip. Now, of course, this first example will be an easy pistol whipping as I don't want to shoot myself, at least not just yet anyway. And of course, I'm referring to the time when my friends and we would prank phone call the kids' help phone. Yes, one of the most morally corrupt things you can do, but we were, again, stupid kids. And we'd ask such revolutionary questions such as, why are balls so bouncy? And why do people masturbate? Of course, the best answer we ever received was a guy scoffing, laughing at us and saying, what do you mean, why do people masturbate? It feels good. That was by far the best experience we ever had calling that number. Next up on the list, this will be an easy shoot. These are delivery trucks who are blocking the road. So if you're moving, you're not allowed to do that. But if someone needs some junk off Amazon, yeah, go ahead and block the road during rush hour traffic. That is an easy shoot. The next example, also an easy shoot, is people who try to penis their way through traffic. And what I mean by that is, no turn signal, no problem, just kind of trying to ram their way in. Like they figure if they occupy the space by your front fender, you have no choice but to let them in. I will state right now, I will gladly take both of us off a suspension bridge, motherfucker, okay? And the last one, I think we'll get away with an easy pistol whip. These poor dumb bastards, I don't want to shoot them. I'm talking about people who meet cars in the opposite lane of traffic and need to slow down or swerve to the shoulder. Like, how the fuck are you allowed to drive? It's as though a police officer who's scared to use their sidearm. He fires it, he starts flailing his wrist and releases a couple bonus rounds all over the place. You shouldn't be a police officer if you can't meet the bare minimum of, not being an idiot. And that should apply to people driving these multi-ton metal death boxes on the road as well. Alright, we're going to move on to a fan favorite and relatively new segment, Random Question Time. And of course, this week's question, are new sex positions limited by penis length? You know what I mean? There's so many positions known right now. Is the reason that this list isn't growing still, purely a logistical thing? Now, we are nearing the end of this week's episode. Ordinarily, I'd want to touch on a quick wow or woof. Now, I had invited Mac the Wolfhound to be here this week, but he was not only embarrassed, but also ashamed of the inspiration for this week's episode, said I was a deplorable human being, and declined my invitation. So we're just going to touch on upcoming subjects for next week. We are going to see what other sexual acts can be stretched out into an 8-minute episode. And also, I'm going to share some tips on how to apply the Kama Sutra while also having a bum knee, a bad back, and a heart full of apathy. All that and more next week on Gabagool and 8. Please listen, like, share, and subscribe. My name is Wes Dawson, and I'll see you next Wednesday.